My name is Amy Summers, and I'm 29 years old. 8 months ago, a machine at the Ridgeline Plastics plant took 3 of my fingers. I called my mom from the ambulance. She said, "Which hand?" "Oh, the left." "At least it's not your writing hand." My sister Megan posted a selfie outside a hospital I wasn't even in, praying for my baby sister. Link in bio. The GoFundMe raised $14,200. I never saw 1 cent. When I traced the withdrawal account, the name on it was mine, on an account I never opened, in a financial life I never knew existed. I looked my sister dead in the eyes and spat. "You didn't just steal my money, Megan. You stole my fucking name and turned my severed fingers into your personal ATM." But that was nothing. The real horror came when I discovered what else that account was hiding. And that's when everything they tried to bury came crashing down. Before we get into this, if you're new here, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And while you're at it, drop a comment telling me where you are watching from and what time it is where you are. I love reading every single one. Let me back up. The morning after surgery, I woke up in a shared room at St. Vincent's with my left hand wrapped in gauze the size of a softball. Ring finger, middle finger, pinky. All gone below the second knuckle. The surgeon said the nerves were clean. I said thank you, like he'd done me a favor. Megan was already there. Not at my bedside. At the nurse's station, leaning on the counter with a pen in her hand, signing something. She had her coat on, purse on her shoulder, like she was closing a deal on her lunch break. When she saw me looking, she walked over and set a clipboard on my blanket. "I already talked to the discharge nurse," she said. "I got this." I tried to reach for the clipboard, but my left hand was a white lump of gauze and my right had an IV taped to the back of it. I couldn't hold anything. Megan slid the clipboard closer and pointed to a line. "Just sign here, I'll handle the rest." I signed with my right hand. The signature looked like a child's. She collected everything: discharge summary, insurance claim forms, workers' comp packet, my medical records, even the copy of my social security card from the admission file. She put it all in a canvas tote bag she'd brought from home, the one with the farmer's market logo on it. "You're missing 3 fingers, Amy. The last thing you need is paperwork. Let me handle it." That's what sisters do. I watched her walk out through the automatic doors, the tote bag on her shoulder, my entire medical and financial identity inside it. She loaded it into the passenger seat of her Subaru and drove away. I went home to Mom's house with a bag of clothes and a hand that couldn't hold a spoon, and I thought, what would I do without her? Those first weeks at Mom's house on Birch Lane felt like learning to be a person again. Physical therapy 3 times a week at the clinic on Route 9. I'd sit at the kitchen table with a spoon in my left hand, 2 remaining fingers and a thumb trying to grip the handle, and practice. Drop, pick up, drop, pick up. I've paid my own rent since I was 18, moved out at 19. Credit score 780 last I checked. I have never, not once, asked my family for money. I owe nobody nothing. That was the thing I said to myself on the bad days, when the phantom pain in my missing fingers woke me at 3 a.m. I might be missing parts, but I'm whole where it counts. 2 weeks in, I opened my banking app with my right hand. Savings were dropping. No paycheck. Workers' comp still processing. I called Ridgeline's HR line. Deb Kowalski picked up. She'd been on my line before the accident. 22 years at the plant, union rep, the kind of woman who calls everyone honey but means it like armor. "About damn time, girl," she said. "We've got a spot in receiving. Light duty, 1 hand's fine. You want in?" "Monday," I said. I started retraining myself. Opening boxes one-handed, tying shoes one-handed, driving with my right hand centered on the wheel, left hand resting on my thigh, 2 fingers and a thumb doing nothing useful yet. Everything took twice as long. Everything was possible. That night, Megan called. I told her I was going back to the plant. She went quiet for a beat. Then, "Are you sure? Your hand isn't ready." She came to Mom's that Sunday, brought a casserole and a concerned expression. I was on the couch, working my left hand around a coffee mug. The physical therapist said grip strength was the priority. 2 fingers and a thumb on ceramic. Not great, but holding. Megan sat next to me. "I talked to Dr. Brennan's office," she said. "They said pushing too fast can cause permanent nerve damage in the remaining fingers. You don't want to lose the 2 you have left." I said I felt fine. My PT said I was ahead of schedule. "What if you go back and hurt yourself worse?" she said. "Then you can't work at all. At least right now you're healing. At least right now you're safe." At least? That was Mom's word too. At least it's not your writing hand. At least you're healing. At least. At least. The family language for stop asking for more. I told her I'd wait another month. She nodded like she'd expected that. On her way out, she stopped at the door. "Oh, I'll grab your mail on my way out. Save you the walk." I heard the mailbox open, the car door, the engine. She took my mail, and I thanked her for it. A month later, Megan showed up with a box. New phone. "Yours was cracked anyway," she said. "I already set it up. Transferred your contacts, your banking app, everything. You shouldn't be stressing about tech stuff right now." I turned it on. Contacts were there. Photos were there. Everything looked right. "If you get any weird calls or emails, just ignore them," she said. "There's been a lot of spam targeting accident victims. Scammers scrape hospital records. Don't engage." I thanked her. She said, "That's what I'm here for." That night, my old phone, the cracked one I'd left in a drawer, vibrated once. I didn't hear it. I was already using the new one. The notification on the old screen read, "First Horizon Bank, your monthly statement is ready." I never saw it. I stopped by Mom's a week later to pick up some winter clothes I'd left in my old room. Mom was at the kitchen table sorting mail. One stack for herself, one set aside. "Those for me?" I asked. "Oh, these?" Mom said. "Megan said she'd pick them up. Bills and stuff. She handles your accounts, right?" I glanced at the stack. Envelope from Experian. Envelope from Capital One. Envelope from the Social Security Administration. I didn't think anything of it. Figured Megan was handling workers' comp paperwork, insurance claims, the sister stuff. "Yeah," I said. "She handles it." Megan came 10 minutes later, picked up the stack without sitting down. "Thanks, Mom." Kissed her on the cheek. Walked out. I watched through the kitchen window. Megan didn't put the stack in her bag. She sat in her car and opened every envelope, one by one, reading each letter in the driver's seat before pulling away. That was the first time I thought, weird. But I didn't say it out loud. I never said it out loud. 2 nights later, I couldn't sleep. Phantom pain in the missing fingers. The nerves fire where the fingers used to be, and your brain sends signals to digits that aren't there anymore. It's the cruelest trick the body plays. I got up to get water. Megan was sleeping over. She did that sometimes. Took the guest room. Said she wanted to be close in case I needed help in the night. I walked down the hallway toward the kitchen and heard her voice. Low. Not whispering, but close to it. She was sitting at Mom's kitchen table in the dark, phone pressed to her ear, the blue light of the screen catching her jaw. "The hardship application needs 30 more days of documentation," she said. "I can get that. She's not going back to work yet." I stopped in the hallway, bare feet on carpet. She couldn't see me. "No, it's fine. I have the medical records, the new ones from the follow-up." Pause. "I said I'll get it done. I always do." I shifted my weight. The floor creaked. Megan looked up. saw me in the hallway and ended the call in one motion. "Craig can't sleep," she said. "Was just checking on him." I looked at her phone screen. It wasn't a call log on the display. It was a browser tab, an email inbox. Subject lines too small to read from the doorway. "You okay?" she asked. "Just getting water," I said. I filled a glass, drank it, went back to bed. Didn't ask about the hardship application. Didn't ask who she was talking to. Didn't ask why she was checking email at 2 a.m. and calling it a phone call to Craig. I should have asked. 3 months after the accident, I got the mail before Megan did. Mom's mailbox, end of the driveway, 7:45 a.m. I was making coffee. Megan had a dentist appointment that morning. She wouldn't be by until noon, so I walked down in my socks and pulled out the stack myself. Electric bill, coupon booklet, pizza flyer, and a white envelope with a blue logo. First Horizon Bank. "Congratulations on your new First Horizon checking account." I turned it over. Printed on the front, Amy R. Summers, 1847, Birch Lane. The zip code was right. The middle initial was right. I don't have a First Horizon account. I've never had a First Horizon account. I was about to open it when the front door banged. Megan walked in. Dentist appointment apparently canceled. She saw the envelope in my hand and her face did something. It lasted half a second. Her eyes went a fraction wider, her jaw tightened, and then she smiled. "Oh, that? Junk mail. They blast those to everyone now. It's a marketing thing. They buy mailing lists. I got one last week." "But it has my middle initial," I said. "They scrape data, Ames, public records. Toss it." I tossed it, into the trash can under the sink. And then Megan took the trash out. The whole bag. At 7:50 in the morning, I heard the trunk of her car open. Close. She drove away with my garbage. Weird. But okay. I said that a lot back then. Weird. But okay. It was easier than the alternative. Tax season came 4 months after the accident. I sat at Mom's kitchen table with W-2 forms spread out, trying to organize them with my right hand while my left sat on the table being useless. Megan arrived at noon. "Tax time, let me do this. You know I'm the numbers sister." She opened her laptop. "I just need your W-2 and your social. I'll e-file. Takes 20 minutes." I read her my social security number, 542886. I'd done this every year. She filed for Mom, for Craig, for me. It was routine. Normal. The kind of thing families do. She didn't ask if I wanted her to do it. She said, "Let me do this." Declarative. Not a question. By the time I could have objected, her fingers were already on the keyboard. "Family takes care of family," she said. "It's what Dad would have wanted." Dad passed 6 years ago. Megan pulled his memory out like a card in a deck, played it when she needed compliance. You don't say no to a dead man's wishes. I signed the return with my right hand. She closed the laptop. "Done. Refund should hit in 3 weeks." "Thanks, Meg. That's what I'm here for." If someone in your family ever said, "I got this," every time you tried to handle your own life, drop a comment. I want to know I'm not the only one who let it happen. 5 months after the accident, I was at Mom's when her phone rang. Not my phone. The new one Megan gave me sat silent in my pocket, as always. Mom's landline. Mom picked up. "Summers residence." She listened. Her face went confused. "Amy owes what? No, that can't be right. Hold on." She looked at me. "Some collection agency says you owe $4,000 on some account." "I don't owe anyone anything," I said. "Give me the phone." Before I could take it, Megan walked in from the living room. She'd been on the couch. I didn't even know she was in the house. She took the phone from Mom's hand in one smooth motion. "I'll handle this. These scammers target accident victims." I've reported 3 of them already. She walked out to the front porch. I could see her through the screen door, pacing, talking low. 2 minutes. She came back in, set the phone on the counter. Done. Scammer. I reported the number. Fee? $4,000 is a specific number, I said. Scammers don't usually. Trust me, Ames. You engage with these people. They never stop calling. I deal with this stuff at work. Megan works at an insurance company. She says that like it makes her an expert on everything with a dollar sign. I let it go. But that night, lying in my old bed at Mom's, I stared at the ceiling and counted. The first Horizon envelope, the mail Megan takes every week, the calls she intercepts, the phone she set up for me. $4,000. That's not a number someone makes up. 5 months and 2 weeks after the accident, I went back to Ridgeline Plastics. Light duty, receiving dock, scanning barcodes with my right hand, one-armed inventory checks, sorting packing slips into bins. Deb met me at the door in her steel toes and her union lanyard. About damn time, girl. Same thing she said on the phone. Same voice. Deb says what she means the first time and doesn't need to repeat it. She walked me through the new receiving protocol. Most of it was scan, sort, log, all right-hand work. I could do it with my eyes closed and one arm tied behind me, which was more or less the situation. The other guys on the dock didn't make a thing of it. A guy named Vince nodded at me, said, "Welcome back," and went back to stacking pallets. That was enough. I walked through the production floor on the way to receiving, past machine 4, the one that took my fingers. I stopped, looked at it, looked at my left hand. 3 gaps where knuckles used to be. The machine was already clean, already running. Someone else feeding plastic sheets into the press like it had never tasted anyone's hand. "You don't have to walk past it," Deb said behind me. "Yeah, I do." End of shift, I sat in the break room and checked my banking app on the phone Megan gave me. No notifications, no alerts, no messages from any bank or credit agency. The screen was clean and quiet. Like nothing in the financial world had my name on it. Funny how quiet everything was on that phone. 6 months after the accident, I needed new safety boots for the plant. Steel toe, non-slip, the kind that cost $140 at the work supply store on Market Street. My savings were low. Workers' comp covers medical, not lifestyle, and I'd been out 5 months with one good hand. I applied for a basic Capital One card online during my lunch break at the plant. Deb was refilling her thermos across the break room. I remember because she was the only person there when the screen loaded. Denied. The screen said, "We were unable to approve your application based on the following: existing accounts with significant outstanding balances." I read it 3 times. Existing accounts. Outstanding balances. Below that, credit report shows 3 active revolving accounts, 1 installment loan. Total outstanding balance, $31,400. I own a debit card from my credit union. That's it. I have never had a revolving credit account. I have never taken out a loan. I have never applied for anything more complicated than a library card. $31,400. Under my name, in accounts that weren't mine. I called Megan. "I just got denied for a credit card," I said. "They say I owe $31,000 on accounts I don't have." She didn't pause, not even a breath. "Identity mix-up. Happens all the time. There's another Amy Summers in Columbus. Common name. I'll call the credit bureau and sort it out. Maybe I should—" "I got this." A week later, she told me it was fixed. Mix up with the other Amy Summers. Should clear in 30 days. I didn't check. She said, "I got this." And I let those 3 words put me back to sleep. 2 weeks after that, I was eating a ham sandwich in the Ridgeline break room when my phone rang. The phone Megan gave me. I picked up because I was expecting a callback from HR about overtime. Ms. Summers, this is Apex Collections regarding your outstanding balance of $4,200 on your First Horizon checking account. Account ending in 4471. I don't have a First Horizon account, I said. Ma'am, our records show First Horizon. I put my sandwich down. First Horizon. The same bank on the envelope Megan called junk mail. The congratulations on your new account letter she threw in the trash and drove away with 3 months ago. The junk mail wasn't junk, I said, out loud. Not to the caller, to the break room. Deb was sitting across from me. She'd heard the whole call on speaker. The break room was loud enough that I'd put it on speaker to hear over the vending machine compressor. First Horizon, I said. Same bank as an envelope I got months ago. Megan said it was marketing. She threw it away. She took it with her. Deb put her coffee down. Amy, that's not a mix-up. That's not junk mail. Somebody is using your social. She looked at me steady. Who has your social? I counted on my right hand. Mom. HRIRS. I stopped. And Megan. She files my taxes. She keeps my medical records. She handles my mail. She set up my phone. Deb didn't blink. Honey, that's not handling. That's access. Nobody had ever said it like that before. Not handling. Access. 5 letters that changed everything. I sat there for a minute after Deb went back to her thermos. The break room compressor hummed. The fluorescent lights buzzed. Somewhere on the production floor, Machine 4 was pressing plastic sheets, and some other woman was feeding them in with all 10 of her fingers. Deb had named the thing I'd been circling for months. Every "I got this" was a door closing between me and information. Every "trust me" was a hand steering me away from a truth. Megan didn't help me with my paperwork. Megan intercepted my paperwork. There's a difference, and Deb saw it in 30 seconds, and I'd missed it for 3 years. What are you going to do? Deb asked. I don't know yet, I said. But I did know. I was going to do the one thing I hadn't done in 3 years. Handle something myself. I drove home that night with my right hand on the wheel and my left hand shaking in my lap. 2 fingers and a thumb vibrating against my jeans. The envelope was junk mail, except it wasn't. The credit denial was a mix-up, except it wasn't. The collection call was a scam, except it wasn't. And every single time Megan was the one who told me what it was, and every single time I believed her. She takes my mail. She files my taxes. She set up my phone. She holds my medical records. She intercepted the call on Mom's phone. She threw away the envelope and drove off with it in her trunk. I pulled into Mom's driveway, sat there, didn't go in. I called Apex Collections back, put the phone between my ear and my shoulder, wrote in the notes app with my right hand, letters shaking. First Horizon, account 4471, $4,200, opened March 2023. March 2023, 3 years ago, when I was 26, when I was healthy, when I had all 10 fingers. This started before my fingers. That night, I did something I'd never done before. I went into the phone settings. Deb had told me, check your notifications. If she set that phone up, she might have turned stuff off. I went to settings, notifications, scrolled through the app list. Capital One, notifications off. First Horizon, notifications off. And the First Horizon app was already installed. I never installed it. Experian, off. TransUnion, off. Equifax, off. Every banking app, every credit monitoring app, every financial alert, off. Instagram, on. TikTok, on. Messages, on. She'd picked, surgically, every app that could tell me what was happening to my financial identity, silenced. Every app that was harmless, left alone, and the First Horizon app, already installed on a phone she gave me. Preloaded. I opened it. Login screen. Pre-populated email field. m.cahill_aim@gmail.com. Not my email. Megan's last name is Cahill. Craig Cahill. m.cahill_aim. She had an email for this. She had a whole life for this. I took screenshots of everything. Saved them to a hidden album. Turned the notifications back on, one by one, and made sure she'd have no way to know I'd changed them. Tomorrow. The bank. Without telling Megan. First Horizon Bank. Greenfield branch. 25 minutes outside of town. I picked a branch where nobody would know me. 8:02 a.m. I brought my driver's license, my social security card, and my birth certificate. I'd gotten them myself. Dug through Mom's fireproof box in the hall closet the night before. First time in 3 years I'd handled my own identity documents without Megan in the room. The teller's name was Connie. Short, silver-haired, reading glasses on a chain. "How can I help you, hun?" "I need to know what accounts exist under my name and social security number." She typed. Her fingers slowed. She looked up at me over her glasses. "Ma'am, you have 3 accounts with us." She paused. "A checking, a savings, and a personal line of credit." "I have 0. She blinked. "Our records show. Checking account opened March 12, 2023. Savings opened June 2023. Personal line of credit opened January 2024. All under the name Amy R. Summers. Social security number matching. Address: 1847 Birch Lane. 1847 Birch Lane. Mom's house, my mailing address for everything Megan handles. All opened online," Connie said. "We can't verify in-person identity for online applications, but all submitted information matched your records exactly. Can you print the transaction history? How far back?" "All of it. 3 years." Connie printed 14 pages. I took them with my right hand, started scanning. Deposits, withdrawals, transfers, and then I saw it. A recurring payee name on the transfer list, month after month after month. Megan Cahill, $300, $500, $300, $450, every month, for 3 years. "How much do I owe?" I said. "Total, across all 3. Connie checked. Her lips moved slightly. $31,400. 31,000. The same number from the Capital One denial. There was never a mix-up. There was never another Amy Summers in Columbus. There was only my sister sitting at a keyboard typing my social security number into application forms. I sat in my car in the First Horizon parking lot and read all 14 pages with 7 fingers. The right hand held the pages. The left hand, 2 fingers and a thumb, pressed them flat against the steering wheel so the wind from the cracked window wouldn't scatter them. Page by page, I watched my sister spend my name. Credit card purchases. A $2,200 sectional sofa. The gray one in Megan's living room, the one she told me she got on clearance. An iPad Pro, $1,099. AirPods for Craig, $249. A Ring doorbell camera, $199. Clothing from Nordstrom, sizes 4 and 6. Megan's sizes. I'm a 10. She bought herself clothes and charged them to the name of a woman who was buying steel-toe boots with cash because her credit card got denied. A personal loan, $12,000, disbursed directly into an account under the name Megan Cahill. $12,000 that my name borrowed and her bank account received. Monthly transfers, $300, $400, $500, flowing out of accounts that wore my name and into Megan's pocket. Like rent. Like she was charging me rent for the privilege of having my identity used. I called Deb from the parking lot. My voice didn't shake. I was past shaking. It's not a mix-up, I said. It's Megan. 3 accounts. 31,000. She's been using my name for 3 years. Before the accident. Before the fingers. How long? Since March 2023. I was 26. I was fine. I was working full-time with all 10 fingers. Deb was quiet for 3 seconds. That's federal, Amy. That's not family drama. I sat with it. $31,400 in debt I didn't borrow. Plus $14,200 from a GoFundMe I never saw. $45,600. And that was just what I'd found in one morning. Don't tell your sister, Deb said. Not yet. Pull your credit report, see everything. There's more, Deb. I can feel it. I drove to Mom's house, pulled into the driveway, sat there. I opened my phone and typed Amy Summers into Google. First result, the GoFundMe page. Megan's face in the cover photo looking concerned. Below it, a picture of my bandaged hand. Caption: My brave baby sister needs your help. $14,200 raised. Donor comments scrolling. Praying for you, Amy. Megan, you're such an amazing sister. Family like this is everything. Every comment praising Megan. Every dollar going to Megan. I was the prop. She was the hero. She took my fingers and turned them into a fundraiser. She took my name and turned it into $31,000 of credit card debt. She took my mail, my phone, my taxes, my medical records. The only thing she hadn't taken was me. In person, holding the receipts. I went inside, got Mom's laptop from the living room while Mom was napping, went to annualcreditreport.com, typed in my social security number myself. First time in 3 years I'd accessed my own financial identity without Megan in the room. The credit report loaded. I scrolled. And kept scrolling. 5 open accounts. I knew about 3. The ones at First Horizon. There were 2 more. A hardship line of credit, $8,000. A medical payment plan, $4,200. 5 accounts I didn't open, under a name that was mine, on a life that wasn't. What do you think was on those 14 pages? And why do you think Megan's face changed when she saw that envelope? Tell me your theory. I'll wait. I took the credit report to Deb's apartment that evening. Neutral ground. Not Mom's house, where Megan has a key. Deb sat at her kitchen table with a pen and a yellow legal pad, while I read the numbers out loud. 2 credit cards at First Horizon, I said. 1 personal loan, $12,000. 1 hardship line of credit, $8,000. 1 medical payment plan, $4,200. Deb wrote each one down, drew a line under the list, added them. $55,600 in total credit exposure, plus the GoFundMe. $69,800. The hardship credit was the one that stopped me. I pointed at the date. Opened 14 days after my accident. Deb looked at me. 14 days, Deb. The application required medical documentation, proof of disability, a financial hardship letter, income verification. I counted on my right hand. Megan had all of it. She took my medical records from the hospital the day I was discharged. She had my W-2 from filing my taxes. She's had my social since I was 19. She didn't take advantage of the accident, Deb said quietly. No, she was ready for it. She had my SSN, my address, my everything. Already set up, already running. The accident just gave her new paperwork. Deb put her pen down. What about disability benefits? I went still. The letter from the Social Security Administration, the one in the stack Mom gave to Megan. The stack I watched Megan open in her car. I need to make a phone call, I said. I called the Social Security Disability Benefits line from Deb's kitchen. Automated system. Enter your Social Security number. I typed it in with my right thumb. The system asked me to verify my date of birth, my mailing address, 1847 Birch Lane, Mom's house, where Megan collects the mail. Your monthly disability benefit of $1,280 has been deposited to your direct deposit account ending in 4471. Account 4471. The First Horizon checking, the ghost account. I never applied for disability benefits, I said to the automated system, which didn't care. I pressed 0 until I got a person. A woman with a flat voice and a script. I told her I needed information about my disability claim. She asked me to verify my identity again. Social, date of birth, mother's maiden name. I knew all of it because it was mine. That's the sick part. Every security question answered correctly because the person who filed the application had every answer. She'd been collecting my personal information for years, one tax return at a time, one medical form at a time, one let me handle it at a time. The woman told me the application was filed 3 weeks after my qualifying injury, filed online, with supporting medical documentation, 3 weeks after my accident. I was still on morphine 3 weeks after my accident. I was still learning how to hold a fork. Megan filed a disability application using the medical records she'd walked out of St. Vincent's with in her farmer's market tote bag. You're missing 3 fingers, Amy. The last thing you need is paperwork. That was the line. That was always the line. And I'd heard it as love. 7 months of disability payments, $1,280 a month. $8,960 deposited into an account I didn't know existed, controlled by a sister who told me to stop worrying about paperwork. I did the math with Deb on her legal pad. $55,000 in credit fraud, $14,000 from GoFundMe, $9,000 in disability benefits. We kept going. Deb called the 3 charity foundations I'd found listed on a disability resource website, organizations that give grants to injured workers. 2 of them had disbursement records for Amy Summers, $2,500 from one, $3,000 from the other. Deb added the final number and underlined it twice, $87,000. She put the pen down, stared at the pad. Amy, that's not your sister helping herself to a GoFundMe. That's federal identity theft. Wire fraud, mail fraud, benefits fraud, disability fraud. She looked up. This is prison. This is my name, I said. Megan had sent the invitations the week before, the donor appreciation party. Her idea, her venue, her guest list. 40 people who donated to the GoFundMe, a community center on Oak Street. Saturday night. Banner already ordered. Thank you for supporting Amy. A party to celebrate stealing from me, attended by the people she'd stolen from. I sat in Deb's kitchen and made a decision. I'm bringing everything, I said. Bank statements, credit report, disability records, phone screenshots, every piece of paper with my name on it that I didn't put there. Deb and I spent 2 evenings at her table organizing. I made a folder with tabs, labeled each one with my right hand, typing on Deb's label maker with 7 fingers. Tab 1, bank accounts I never opened. Tab 2, debts I never borrowed. Tab 3, benefits I never received. Tab 4, a phone she set up to keep me blind. Saturday morning, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror in Deb's apartment, looked at my left hand, 2 fingers and a thumb, picked up the folder with my right. My phone rang at 7:15. Mom. Megan's been so stressed planning this party, Mom said. Just be nice tonight, okay? For me? She's done so much for you. I almost said, okay, almost let it go. Then Mom said, oh, another one of those letters came yesterday. I gave it to Megan. What letter? From some collection place. Megan said she'd handle it. I gripped the phone. Even now, even today. Even on the morning I was about to expose everything, Mom was still handing my mail to Megan, still feeding the system, still repeating the line. She always does, I said. That's what I tell everyone, Mom said, and I could hear her smiling. Megan handles everything. I hung up. Sat on the edge of Deb's bathtub. Mom didn't say Megan handles everything. Megan says that. Mom was repeating Megan's words back to me. The same phrase, the same cadence. She handles everything. It wasn't Mom's observation. It was Megan's script, planted so deep that Mom thought it was her own thought. Deb knocked on the bathroom door. Truck's running. She stole my name. Today, I was taking it back. Deb drove. I sat in the passenger seat with the folder on my lap, flipping through the tabs one last time. We were 15 minutes from the community center when I opened my medical portal on my phone. I'd created my own login 2 days before, separate from whatever Megan had been using. Deb had helped me set it up at her kitchen table. I scrolled through my records from Dr. Brennan's office, lab results, PT notes, surgical follow-up, and then I found it. A note dated 6 weeks ago. From Dr. Brennan. Per family member's phone call, sister, patient reports continued severe pain and limited mobility in remaining digits, difficulty performing daily tasks, recommend extended disability classification review postponed 90 days. I read it twice. I never called Dr. Brennan's office. I've been doing fine. My PT says I'm ahead of schedule. I'm back at the plant, working light duty, scanning barcodes, opening packages. My hand isn't great, but it works. I'm not in severe pain. I'm not struggling with daily tasks. Megan called my doctor, pretending to be me, telling them I was worse than I am. She called my doctor, I said to the windshield. She told them I can't function. She told them to keep me classified as disabled. Deb glanced at me, then back at the road. If you recover, the disability checks stop. $12.80 a month. $15,000 a year. Gone. That's why she told me not to go back to work. Not because of nerve damage, because of $1,280 a month. I looked at my left hand. 2 fingers and a thumb. She'd told me to rest them. She'd told me not to push too fast. She'd called my doctor and said I was still broken. Because a broken sister earns more. My body wasn't mine. It was her asset. My missing fingers weren't a tragedy. They were a revenue stream. My recovery wasn't healing. It was depreciation. I added Dr. Brennan's note to the folder. Tab 5. Deb pulled into the community center parking lot. Cars already there. Through the window, I could see the banner. Thank you for supporting Amy. Streamers. A punch bowl on a folding table. Megan at the front of the room with a microphone. Craig beside her, plastic cup in hand. Mom in the second row, beaming. You ready? Deb said. I held up my left hand, 2 fingers and a thumb. She tried to keep these broken. That's the part I won't forgive. The community center on Oak Street had folding chairs set up in rows, 40 of them, most of them filled. A table by the door with a blown-up photo of my bandaged hand on a little easel. My hand, on a table, like a centerpiece. My missing fingers were decoration at my sister's party. Megan was mid-speech when I opened the door. And because of all of you, my sister is healing. Your generosity saved. She stopped. Mid-word. Her mouth stayed open for a half-second before she closed it. Craig saw me next. His hand tightened around his plastic cup of punch. The cup crinkled. The room turned. 40 faces. Someone started clapping. The guest of honor, a woman in the front row said. Others joined. Applause for the girl with the missing fingers. I didn't smile. I didn't wave. I walked toward Megan with the folder in my right hand and my left hand at my side, 2 fingers and a thumb visible to everyone in the room. Megan recovered fast. She always does. The smile came back like a switch. Warm, wide, camera ready. She stepped toward me with her arms open. Oh my God, Amy! You made it! She hugged me. in front of everyone, her arms around my shoulders, her cheek against mine. To the room, it looked like love. She whispered into my ear, "Whatever you think you know, put it away. These people adore me. You make a scene, and you're the crazy sister who crashed a charity party. Put the folder down. We'll talk after." She pulled back, smiled at me, squeezed my arm. I looked at the 40 faces, all smiling, all clapping, all looking at Megan like she was a saint. "You're right about one thing," I said, loud enough for the front row to hear. "These people do love you, but they gave their money for me, and I think they deserve to know where it went." I stepped toward the mic. Megan moved. She put herself between me and the mic stand, her back to the audience, her face to me. The smile gone now, replaced by something flat and hard. Then she turned around, and the smile came back. "I'm so sorry about this," she said to the room, voice soft and cracking at just the right places. "My sister has been struggling since the accident, the trauma, the medications. Her doctors say it can affect perception, paranoia, confusion." She turned to me. "Honey, sit down. Let me handle this. Let me handle this." The same words. Always the same words. I saw it happening. The donors' faces shifting. Confusion to pity. They were starting to see a sick woman being managed by her loving sister. Megan was rewriting the scene in real time. Then Mom stood up. Second row. Hands clasped in front of her. "Amy, baby, maybe you should sit down. You've been through so much. Megan's just trying to help." My mother, standing up for Megan. Not because Mom is cruel, because Megan had been telling her for months. "Amy's been off since the surgery, paranoid. Not herself. I'm worried about her." Mom was repeating Megan's script, word for word, and she didn't even know it was a script. Now it was 2 against 1. Megan and Mom on one side, me on the other. 40 people watching a troubled woman being gently managed by her loving family. I looked at my mother. She's not against me, I thought. She's in the same trap I was in. Megan told her what to think about me, and Mom believed it. Just like I believed the junk mail, the mix-up, the scam calls. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. "Mom," I said, "sit down. This isn't about me being unstable. This is about Megan opening 5 bank accounts in my name." The room went silent. Megan pivoted to the crowd. Her voice was steady, practiced, precise. The cracking gone now, replaced by something sharper. "See? This is what I've been dealing with. 5 bank accounts?" She let out a breath that sounded like a sad laugh. "Amy, honey, listen to yourself. The medications after surgery, they affect memory. The doctors told us this. I've been telling Mom. I've been telling Dr. Brennan." She turned to the donors. "She needs support right now, not accusations. That's why I planned this party. For her. Everything I've done has been for her." I opened the folder. Tab 1. I held up a single page, bank statement from First Horizon printed 3 days ago. I read it to the room. First Horizon checking account. Account holder: Amy Renee Summers. Social Security number ending in 8834. Opened March 12, 2023. I looked up. I was 26 years old, both hands intact, working full-time at Ridgeline Plastics, and I had never, not once, walked into a First Horizon bank. I held the statement higher. Until 3 days ago, when a teller named Connie told me I had 3 accounts I didn't know about. Front row donors leaned forward. Megan's hands were at her sides. "That's... Someone stole her identity. I've been telling her to be more careful online. I've been trying to protect her from..." "Protect me from what, Meg?" "From... scammers? Identity thieves? The people who..." "Who, Megan?" She studied, looked at the room. "Someone used her information. It happens. It happens to thousands of people every year. I didn't open those accounts. I pulled tab 2. Transaction history, 14 pages. I held up page 3 and read, monthly transfers from the account I didn't open. Payee, Megan Cahill. $300, March 2023. $500, April 2023. $300, May 2023. I ran my finger down the page. Every month for 3 years. 36 transfers, all to the same name. I held the page toward the light so the front row could see the printed payee line. Megan Cahill. I looked at my sister. If a scammer stole my identity, Megan, why were they sending every dollar to you? Nobody spoke. And then Deb did. She'd been standing in the back of the room, arms folded, waiting. She walked forward now. Not fast, not slow. Work boots on linoleum. I work with Amy at Ridgeline Plastics, Deb said. I was sitting across from her in the break room when a collection agency called her at work. For a $4,000 debt she didn't know existed, at a bank she'd never visited, on an account she'd never opened. Deb looked at Tammy, looked at her hard. I drove her to that bank myself. I sat in the parking lot while she found out someone built an entire financial life under her name, and I watched every person in her family tell her it was nothing. Mom's chin trembled. First crack. Not in Megan's armor, in Mom's. I pulled the last tabs. 3, 4, 5. I didn't rush. I didn't raise my voice. Monthly disability payment, $1,280, deposited to First Horizon account ending in 4471, the account I never opened. Application filed using medical records my sister collected from the hospital before I was even discharged. I held up the final page. Dr. Brennan's note. And this, a note from my doctor, dated 6 weeks ago. Per family member's phone call. Sister. Patient reports continued severe pain and limited mobility. I lowered the page. I never made that call. My sister did. Pretending to be me. Telling my doctor I was worse than I am. I paused. Let it land. Because a disabled sister is worth $15,000 a year. Megan opened her mouth. That's not... I was trying to... The money was supposed to... You don't understand. I was going to... Sentences broke apart in her mouth like wet paper. She turned to Craig. Craig was looking at the floor. His plastic cup had crumpled in his fist, punch pooling at his feet. She turned to Mom. Mom was crying, both hands pressed to her mouth. She turned to the room. 40 faces. Not one of them looked the way they'd looked 5 minutes ago. No one was smiling. No one was clapping. The mic stand wobbled when her hip brushed it. Feedback whined through the speakers. Megan stepped back. I picked up the mic from where she'd let it drop. I held it in my right hand. I raised my left, 2 fingers and a thumb, and held it up toward the fluorescent light so every person in that room could see what was missing. You all gave money because you saw these 3 missing fingers and you wanted to help. Megan took your donations. Then she took my name. Then she took my credit. Then she took my disability payments. Then she called my doctor and told them I was sicker than I am. Because a broken sister is better business than a healing one. I let the mic rest against my chin. My name is Amy Summers, and today I'm taking it back. Silence held for 3 seconds. Then a woman in the second row stood. Gray hair, reading glasses, cardigan. The kind of woman who writes a check and mails it the same day. I gave $300 to that GoFundMe, she said. I want it back. Another stood. I gave $200. Where did it go? Another. And another. Craig walked to the door. He didn't look at Megan. He set his crumpled cup on a folding chair by the exit, opened the door, and left. I heard his truck start. Mom crossed the room. Not toward Megan. Toward me. She took my damaged left hand, 2 fingers and a thumb, between both of hers. She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She said, "I gave her your mail." Every time. "I gave her your mail." And that was worse than sorry. The room emptied. Donors filed out in small groups, some talking quietly, some not talking at all. One man stopped in front of Megan's table and picked up the blown-up photo of my hand. He looked at it, looked at Megan, set it face down, and walked out. Megan sat alone at a folding table. Mascara tracked down both cheeks. Her hands flat on the table like she'd forgotten how to use them. The banner was still up. Nobody took it down. I stood in the doorway. Part of me, a small part, getting smaller, wanted to cross the room, sit next to her, ask why. Then I remembered Dr. Brennan's note. Per family member's phone call. Patient reports continued severe pain. She didn't just steal from me. She called my doctor and told them to keep me broken. She needed my hand to stay useless so the checks would keep coming. I said one thing. "I'm filing Monday. Federal identity theft, wire fraud, benefits fraud, 5 accounts, $87,000, and a phone call to my doctor pretending to be me." I paused. "If you want to talk before then, you know where I am. But Megan, you don't get to handle anything for me, ever again." She didn't look up. I walked out. Deb's truck was idling in the parking lot, headlights cutting through the October dark. "Where to?" Deb said. "Home. I've got a lot of phone calls to make tomorrow, and I need to change every password I have." As we pulled away, I saw the community center lights go off, one window at a time. Through the last window, Megan's silhouette, still sitting. Monday morning, Deb drove me to the FTC office in Columbus. 90 minutes on I-70, the folder on my lap, the October sun flat and gray through the windshield. Deb didn't play the radio. We didn't talk much. There wasn't much to say that the paperwork wouldn't say better. I filed an identity theft affidavit. 8 pages, every box filled in with my right hand, my left hand pressing down the corners. I filed an FBI IC3 complaint. Cybercrime, wire fraud, identity theft. I filed a report with the State Attorney General's Consumer Fraud Division. I filed a Social Security disability fraud report. I filed disputes on all 5 accounts at First Horizon, each form a separate document, each one requiring my signature, my social, my statement that I did not authorize these accounts. 7 fingers doing the work of 10. My handwriting was slow but legible. The woman at the FTC desk watched me sign and didn't say anything about my hand. I appreciated that. Craig texted Megan's phone that morning. The phone she'd left on the folding table at the community center, next to the blown-up photo of my hand she'd used as a centerpiece. "I called a lawyer. Don't come home tonight." Deb heard about it from a friend at the plant whose husband does HVAC with Craig. Mom sat at her kitchen table on Birch Lane and stared at the stack of mail she'd been handing to Megan every week for 3 years. She counted the envelopes she remembered giving over. She stopped counting at 40. Later, she told me she sat there for 2 hours. I believe her. That afternoon, my phone buzzed. Not a scam. Not junk mail. Not a number Megan had blocked. A real notification, arriving for the first time in months because the mute was off. Experian alert. Dispute filed on account ending in 4471. First time in 3 years the system talked directly to me. Not through Megan, not filtered, not handled, direct. I looked at the notification for a long time. It was the most honest thing my phone had shown me since Megan set it up. If you've ever had to rebuild something someone in your family destroyed, your credit, your trust, your name, this one's for you. You know who you are. I got my own place 2 weeks later. Small apartment on the west side of town, 2nd floor, east-facing window. Deb helped me move. Didn't take long. I didn't have much. A bed, a desk, a chair, a laptop I bought with the last of my savings. The desk faces the window. Morning light comes through it at 6 a.m. The first thing I did in that apartment was change every password I own. Banking, email, medical portal, tax account, social security online. Each one a new password, typed with 7 fingers, memorized by a brain that was done letting someone else hold the keys. I sat down and opened the laptop. Screen. Dispute number 1 of 5. I typed with 7 fingers. Index, middle, ring, pinky, thumb on the right. Index, thumb on the left. Slow, steady. Each keystroke a letter of my name coming back to me. She took 3 of my fingers and turned them into a monthly check. She took my name and turned it into $87,000 of debt I didn't borrow. She took my mail, my phone, my taxes, my doctor, my credit, my social security number. She took everything she could carry, but she forgot one thing. The same hand that can't hold a coffee cup can still hold a pen. And I've got a lot of papers to sign. My sister stole my name. She stole my credit, my disability, my doctor's trust, and 3 years of mail I never saw. She turned my missing fingers into a revenue stream and my recovery into a threat to her income. But a name isn't in your fingers. It's in every form you sign, every password you change, every door you lock behind you. I'm Amy Summers, and I'm the only one who gets to be her now.